Hello out there in YouTube land.
Welcome to our channel.
How y'all been?
We've been pretty good.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
So, we would like to welcome you to our channel.
Basically, if you enjoy makeup and entertainment, you've come to the right spot.
We're gonna have rants, movie reviews, makeup reviews, basically anything we can think of that remotely deals with the goth subculture.
A little bit of lore around Halloween. Yeah, we like to tell stories.
Halloween's gonna be Vampire Month.
Yeah.
That's important.
So if you like what you see, please remember to hit subscribe and make sure you click on the bell. And away we go.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about our 5 favorite eyeshadow palettes.
As you can see, we really are pale as, read the name.
Yeah. I don't think you get too much paler than we are. Granted, right now we are kind of gothed up, but we can guarantee you that we are roughly around a 42 in Kat Von D.
41, 42, somewhere in there. Depends on the day.
Yeah, so, it is what it is. There's not a lot of companies that make makeup, foundations, and concealers specifically to suit our skin tone.
And we have a challenge with finding a lot of makeups that actually go well with pale skin, just in general.
And also that don't oxidize. It's a
Right.
major problem. A lot of foundations on one person might work great, on us turn orange.
Right.
So we're very limited, so if anyone has any pale foundations I can recommend down below, by all means. We just happen to be on the extreme end of the pale spectrum. People that have very deep skin tones have the exact same problem we do. We are not a channel that promotes anti-Semitism or white supremacy. We just happen to be very fair-skinned.
And on that note, those of you that are following our channel, we do not allow any hateful comments in the post below toward us or anyone else. Those will be automatically deleted.
Yes.
And the person will be blocked from our channel. So please keep this very positive.
And we're not going to let anyone else be disparaged in the comments either. If you leave a comment and someone makes a horrible reply to it, we're going to delete that too, because nobody needs that type of bullying.
Right. We also use many products from many different companies, and some of those companies have been involved in scandals. Some have been involved in recent issues with each other.
Yes.
Those are the companies. Those are the people that run the companies. Again, we have a lot of brands that we buy from simply because it goes very well with our skin.
We don't necessarily support their beliefs. We are just very limited. And unfortunately, most makeup companies tend to stick to the middle ranges on everything. So, just like people with very deep skin tones cannot find a foundation with a specific undertone that suits their skin, we have the exact same problem, so we have to use what works for us.
Exactly. And please, if you do have suggestions, we will gladly take a look at your comments. We'll even review them.
Yes, because
we'll go out and get samples.
And in fact, if there are any African American owned businesses or Asian owned businesses that have lovely eyeshadow palettes where the pigmentation is just amazing, please let us know, because we love eyeshadow.
Yes.
We're obsessed with it.
We just don't have the ability to close the door on any given company because we use such a range of color every day, from things you can wear every day to work to completely gothing out. So we welcome any and all
suggestions. And hopefully more makeup brands will be more diverse in their selections, so that in future we can cut brands out of our selection that we don't necessarily agree with.
Right. And we also have very sensitive skin, so that's something that we'll be reviewing too, whether or not a particular eyeshadow causes irritation. We've had a few that have had.
Yes, unfortunately, like Huda Beauty makes beautiful eyeshadows. She and I are both allergic to it. Our eyes swell and turn bright red.
Right.
It's horrible, but it is what it is.
And I'm a person that, while I'm pale, I also have rosacea. So a lot of brands, I have to be very careful about what I put on my skin. And we'll even talk about makeup free day as
Yes.
how you should build your skin up, or what we recommend in terms of products. Today, since it's near and dear to our hearts and we have a ton of them, we're actually going to be reviewing some eyeshadow palettes from various companies.
Yes. These are what we consider right now the cream of the crop. Of course, in future we might have a new favorite tomorrow. That's the way this works.
Oh, yeah.
But, right now these are the top 5, in our opinion, that are just amazing. So...
And they're amazing for a lot of different reasons. Either the formulation is just beautiful on the skin, but also versatility. We look at a palette that is very versatile, whether you can do a day look, a night look, or all things in between.
And also, just flat if we like the color story.
Right.
If the colors are something that we're just in love with, we're all for that. Just like anybody, actually. Yeah.
So we picked 5, and 5 out of our stash, as we like to put it, is actually very hard to pick.
Yeah, it's like, I call it my bag of doom. There's just... I'm not even sure how many eyeshadow palettes we have at this point.
I lost count.
Yeah, we'd have to count that. If anybody wants to see a tour of our eyeshadow palettes, just let us know, because we'll gladly do that.
Yeah, we will lay them all out. That's
not a problem.
Yeah.
It'd just be entertaining, and I don't know. At any rate, here's our top 5.
So the first one that we really want to talk about, and something that Dani and I both use, is the Orb of Light palette. And it is by Black Moon Cosmetics. And we'll start, kind of talking about the packaging a bit. It has kind of a more plastic hard case to it. It has a little bit of a Kat Von D look.
Yes. The one problem we have with it is it seems to be very difficult to open.
It is. So I've already pried it open here.
Yes.
But it is a little bit difficult to open. So getting into the palette, it's a very basic palette, as you can see. So we have a lot of different shade ranges for the goth look. And that ranges from the black, which is simply called black. There's the shade Wolf, Blood, Harvest, Worm, Cold, and Strawberry. And then we have something called New. And New is actually very good for those of you that draw on your eyebrows.
Yes.
You can use that to kind of highlight underneath and above. I like to use this palette a lot in the autumn, simply because of the coloration range to it. Mm-hmm. It really helps you bring out those autumn looks.
And the pigmentation is just amazing. It's a gorgeous palette. You can layer the yellow right on top of the red and the orange, and it shows up. It's just a lovely palette.
I mean, and that's not something you can do with everything.
No, it's not. And so we recommend this palette for any skin tone. I honestly think that anyone could get a really cool look out of that palette.
Right. I mean, you can get very artistic with it. You can stay very basic with it.
But it's one of the more versatile palettes that we own, and which is interesting because it has one of the least amount of colors in our favorite palettes, but it's just a really great palette. And
it's just very compact, so those of you that travel, fits right in the carry-on. So that is number 5 in our countdown. Yes.
Number 4 is Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette. For anyone that likes purpley, reddish, pinkish tones with some glimmer, it's really nice. Gorgeous. Now there is some fallout with the palette, but Anastasia Beverly Hills is known for having shadows that have some fallout. I don't consider it too much of an issue because with the way my eyelashes are, most eyeshadows have some fallout and I end up having to use concealer to cover it up anyway. Right. I'm one of those people that have to put on their foundation first because I draw my eyebrows on, because I have no eyebrows. So it's just, I'm willing to work with shadows that have fallout. It doesn't faze me whatsoever. Right, and the thing with Orb of Light and also the Anastasia is that there's not a lot of staining with the reddish colors. No, there's not. You don't find that with it. They're highly pigmented, but they don't stain. So you're not going to be worried about that the next day when you're trying to get a different look on. And that, to me, is a little bit more
when you're working throughout the week, that's a bit important. So you don't
Yes.
have the staining and stuff on your face.
Especially, if you've gone to the club on Saturday night with bright red eyes and then you wake up Monday
Right.
morning and everybody's going to be thinking that you're still drunk because your eyes are red and
Yeah.
here you just have some staining from eyeshadow.
You have staining from eyeshadow. Now the other palette that we like, and this is marketed for summer, really, but it's also very good in autumn.
Yes, it is.
And it's good in the winter, too, which is a strange concept. It's actually Urban Decay's Naked Heat. And this is something that has a lot of the bronzes and the kind of the goldish colors that you would see in a fall palette.
It's
and
kind
also
of
in fire.
It's kind of a palette of autumn leaves, honestly, if you think about it that way. Almost every single leaf shade is in that palette.
Yeah, and you've done multiple looks with this that are just stunning. It's not only stunning here, but when you're in the dead of winter.
Yes.
And you want to just kind of feel warm.
And it brings some color to your face, especially if you have a cooler undertone. A lot of people have like a blue or gray undertone to their skin, which isn't as common, but there are quite a few of us out there. And those of us that have that cooler shade undertone, it really helps sometimes to find reds and golds and yellows and oranges that help bring some color to your face when you don't always want to look dead, essentially.
Right. When you don't want that cooler look.
Yes.
And that's a palette that's very versatile for both day and night.
Yes.
So you can kind of stay with that lighter gold red shift during the day, and then move into your darker shades and your really heat and fire at night.
So, what are we on? We are on number 2. Number 2 is a newer entry, but it is Jeffree Star's Blue Blood palette. And this bad boy looks like that. It is one of the most versatile blue palettes I've ever seen. I think partially because there are a lot of blending shades with it, with like a little bit of apricot, a little bit of tans.
Right.
And it helps you really define your eyes in a different way. It used to be like in the 1970s, if you wore blue eyeshadow, you were considered really weird because blue stood out strangely. But the Blue Blood palette doesn't do that. It just makes your eyes really pop, and some of the shades are just simply completely gorgeous.
And that's even for all of us blue-eyed people. You tend to steer clear of blues.
Yes.
This palette actually accents your eyes very well. And it does very well on green eyes too.
Yes.
And then, of course, brown.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something you can't find a lot of, that perfect kind of combination of blues.
And what's nice about that palette also is the fact that there's not just warmer blues, but there's cooler blues too, which I have to give Jeffree Star props on that, because it's hard to get cooler tones with vegan formulas.
Right. And he does some beautifully pigmented colorations in his formulations. They are gorgeous. They hold very well. There is a little bit of fallout. There always tends to be on my eyes and Dani's eyes. But other than that, it's actually very, very versatile.
Yes.
And very nice. So down to which is our number 1 right now. And number 1 is something that has to go well on the skin. It has to be versatile, and you have to do a lot of looks from it. And actually, I'm wearing it on my eyes today. It is Urban Decay's Born to Run. And I absolutely adore this palette. As you can see, there are a ton of shades, and the looks are endless.
Yeah, you can do almost anything with that palette, I think.
Now, I am a scientist. I work in government. I work a lot of different conferences.
Yes.
So I travel. When I travel, I don't have a lot of space all the time because we do fly. This is my go-to. If I can take nothing else in my makeup collection for eyeshadow, I take this one. Because I'm going to get conference looks, professional looks, I'm going to get nighttime.
You have the highlight shades in there. You don't have to pack any extra shadows with that palette.
Right. I mean, you absolutely can just take this palette and go. It is true to its name. It is born to run. You can take it anywhere. And that's why right now it's still our number one.
Goodness.
We've had
Quite a few palettes
Yeah.
since, but it really is our favorite eyeshadow palette still. And it's been out for over a year.
Right, it's been out for over a year. We have hit pan in a couple of times and gone to get new ones. So
It's our favorite. So thanks for joining us today. Comment down below what your favorite eyeshadow palette is.
And just know that we upload every Thursday. Please don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell if you'd like to see more of us.
Until then, attempt to appreciate the daylight. Goodbye, folks.
Bye.